Welcome to lesson 2. Today we're going to talk about the different parts of the piano and how all of it works. Before we get started, let's quickly give numbers to the fingers on our hands, and these numbers will be used going forward as reference in all of the lessons. So we start with the thumb. The thumb is number 1, followed by the index finger, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. You might have already noticed that your hands are basically mirror images of each other, but in any case, the number 1 always starts with the thumb on both hands and it ends with pinky finger as number 5. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, coming back to the keyboard, it's a common opinion out there. People think that there's so many keys on the keyboard. Pianists must be doing so much work to remember all the keys and to know which note to play at all times. But there is a pattern that makes it easier to figure out where the keys are instead of remembering where all of it is. And I would also recommend applying that approach to learning music to find patterns and try to figure out where to go from there. This way, you're using less memory and more creative technique to understand the theory and concepts. So let's get started. You may notice that this is how your piano, digital piano or keyboard looks like. My entire piano is not within frame, but that's fine because the pattern that I was talking about, it's easy to figure out by just these amount of keys in the frame. Now you may notice that there's white keys and black keys running down up and down on the piano, and there's a pattern with the black keys right here. You can see there's 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, and so on. The pattern repeats itself throughout the length of the keyboard. This is something that we will use to find the anchor note that we will refer to find out the other notes on the keyboard at the same time. So if you recognize the pattern now, we'll start the pattern with the 2 black notes and end it with the 3 black notes. And if you see, that's what's going on. Now find the 2 black notes, and the note at the left base of it is what we will use as the anchor note. This is also the C note. So 2 black notes, the one at the left bottom of it is the C note. Using this note, we are going to find out every other note on the keyboard. Now, the one after C should be called D. Then we have E, we have F, we have G. There is no H in music, so we are not going to call the next one H. The next one that comes after this is this A note. Then you have the B, and now you have C. Notice that C again came back to the base of the 2 black notes on the left bottom. So you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Congratulations, now you can find out the name of any white note on the keyboard by just finding out the anchor note, which is the 2 black keys. This pattern repeats itself throughout the length of the keyboard. If I was to go to these 2 black notes, they will be referring to a C at the base as well. So you have C, another C, C again, let me guess, C. All of these are C notes, and the ones that follow them are the notes that we found out over here. So you got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And those are the white notes on the keyboard. Now the black notes also have names, but they don't have names of their own. They're always in reference to one of the white notes. Before we go to the reference for the black notes, let's quickly understand the concepts of steps. Steps in a piano or music for that matter would be notes following the one that you're given referring to. So if you talk about the C note, a whole step next to C note is going to be the D note. Whole step next to the D note would be E. The reason why they are whole steps is because they are going through two notes to get to the next one. So if you have C, you are not just going to D, you're going to see the black note in between and then D. You just covered two notes, and that's why it's called a whole step. Same goes for D to E. Now notice that from E to F, there is no black note in between. So that's going to be a half step. F to G is a whole step again. G to A to B. These were all whole steps. Now B to C is again going to be a half step. From what we just learned, we found out that E and B, they do not have whole steps for the next white note. They have half steps to get to the next white note. We're going to use this information to refer to the black notes as well. So if you're looking at C and you think of the black note that's on the top right of that note, that would be called a C sharp. A sharp is a half step up there, up the keyboard. So a C sharp is going to be a black note that's on top of C on the right. A D sharp is going to be a black note on top of the D note to the right. E does not have a black note on the right on the top. However, E sharp in theoretical terms is going to be the F note. So F is also E sharp in nomenclature. The black note on top of F to the right is the F sharp note. Then you have the G sharp, the A sharp, and there's no sharp to B, but the B sharp technically is a C. We just refer to the black notes as sharps from the bottom left notes as point of references. If you were to look at them from the notes in front of them, they will be called a flat. So a C sharp is also a D flat. This is also D flat. So a C sharp and D flat are essentially the same notes. A D sharp and E flat is the same note. Now I said E sharp was an F. By that same theoretical logic, an F flat is E. An F sharp is G flat, and G sharp is A flat, A sharp is B flat. The sharp to B is C, and similarly the flat to C is B. We just found the pattern to recognize every note on the keyboard now. Starting with white notes, you find the anchor for C, and then every other note can be found in reference to that. But pretty soon you'll be able to recognize them just by looking at it because of the sheer amount of practice. Now this pattern finding technique could be applied to other notes also. Like you could identify F as the one below the three black notes on the left. You can find D as the note between the two black notes. There's a lot of ways of identifying notes, but for this tutorial series, we'll refer to C as the anchor note, and then going from there, we're going to find the other notes out. See you in the next lesson.